Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. It's been a couple weeks since the last time I recorded a video. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, spent some good time with their family. I know we're kind of getting back into it, the home stretch for the ending of the year. Got Christmas coming up in a few weeks. But I wanted to follow up and put another video out there. And I'm getting a lot of requests for videos. And the request that I'm getting, basically, a lot of the requests that I'm getting are, you guys want to hear stories from the street, the crazy war stories, ironic things that have happened and things like that. So we're going to mix those in along with some good educational information on mental health and alcohol and substance use disorder. Try to get a good balance there for everybody moving forward. But the request that I'm getting today from a lot of people that are familiar with my story, I've told it many times to friends, but never really did anything formal like this, like put it on video, is the time that I was actually pulled over by a police officer that actually saved my life during my last overdose. He's the gentleman that actually applied Narcan 2 times, reversed the overdose, and then I subsequently was hospitalized, and that was the beginning of my journey to sobriety. During recovery, there's been a lot of weird things that have happened to me. I'll make them subjects of future videos. That's not a problem. Too many to count as far as the weird things that have happened. And honestly, I don't feel that it's coincidence at all. I really do believe it's divine intervention. And I think that when I put some of these stories out there, you will probably agree with me that it's definitely a lot more than coincidence. But again, today we're going to talk about the time I was pulled over by a police officer who saved my life the year prior, when he was the first responder on the scene at my home when I was found on my kitchen floor, overdosed. So I was about a year sober, just about a year sober, maybe not quite. And my nephew was playing in the championship baseball game in Glen Ellyn. I reside in Glen Ellyn, Illinois. And he had won the championship game. And they celebrated on the field. The team won a big trophy. He took a picture with the trophy. He wanted me to take a picture with him with the trophy, which I did. Said goodbye to my sister, said goodbye to my nephew, congratulated him on the win, and took off. I got about a 10-minute ride home from where those baseball fields are at. I'm turning on to a busy street, Roosevelt Road, and my cell phone goes off. And I just happened to glance at my cell phone as I'm driving home, and it's a picture that my sister sent me, the picture that I just took with my nephew with the championship trophy. So I kind of glanced at it for a second. I believe I was at a stoplight, actually. Put the phone down, continue to drive. Next thing I know, I'm getting pulled over by a police officer. I see the lights behind me. So I actually pull into a parking lot. The parking lot that I pulled into, ironically, was a Jewel. It was a strip mall, but there was a Jewel there, and I was actually in the Jewel section of the parking lot. And it's ironic because that was the same Jewel that I worked at as a teenager. It's the same Jewel that I met my future wife at. That I was married to for 25 years before we got divorced. I have 4 children with her. So there's a lot of history in this particular parking lot. But, the police officer comes up to my car. He asked me for my registration. He asked me for my driver's license. Goes back, does his checks, comes back, says, I pulled you over. I said, no, I really don't. He goes, well, you glanced at your cell phone? I said, yeah. I said, my nephew just won the championship baseball game. My sister sent me a picture. I apologize for that. He says, that's okay. He goes, but can I ask you a question? And I said, yeah, that's anything you want, officer. He goes, how are you doing? And I said, I'm doing great. I said, I worked today, changed on my way to my nephew's baseball game, saw him win the championship, took the picture with the trophy and so forth. He goes, no, he goes, how are you doing? I go, I'm doing great. I go, coming back from my nephew's baseball game, he goes, no. He goes, I'm asking you a question. He goes, how are you doing? And I said, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're asking me. He goes, you don't remember me? I go, no, I really don't remember you. He said, well, that doesn't surprise me. I said, well, can you elaborate? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm actually the police officer that was the first responder on the scene the time that we actually found you when you were overdosing. And I said, you're kidding. And he says, no. He goes, and to be perfectly honest with you, he goes, we gave you the Narcan, and then we gave you the other Narcan. And, we were able to reverse the effects of the overdose, but you were in pretty bad shape. And honestly, he goes, I didn't even know if you were going to make it or not. He says, and then to pull you over and to see you, he goes, and you look amazing. He goes, it actually kind of warms my heart. He goes, because a lot of times we are on the scene and we do what we need to do, and we don't know what the results are afterwards. If the person survived, didn't survive, if they got themselves cleaned up or what have you. And he said that most of the time people do not clean themselves up. So he was actually kind of shocked to see how bad of shape I was the year prior when he found me on the floor, and kind of where I was at just about a year later, living a life of recovery. And I've improved so much since then, but strides were being made at that particular time. And he just kind of had this look in his face like he was almost like staring at a ghost. I can't explain it. But he was just kind of like looking at me up and down, honestly, almost like a proud father. Like he was proud, that I had changed my life, and that I had actually, cleaned myself up. And, he handed me my driver's license back. He handed my registration back. We sat and bullshitted in the parking lot for a little bit. We talked about what he was seeing on the streets in regards to overdoses and wellness calls in people's houses in the western suburbs. Just talked about life a little bit, and we parted ways. It was a great conversation. I always wondered who the first responders were that were on the scene. I think it's kind of ironic that that's how I found out. Shook his hand, obviously, thanked him for saving my life. And then kind of went on with the rest of my day. And for those that are wondering, no, he never wrote me a ticket for being on my phone while I was driving or while I was on the road. So pretty interesting story, pretty ironic story. Again, people get a kick out of that story because it is very, very ironic. People had asked me to put that out there, so that's the reason why I'm doing this today. A little bit of a different subject. Kind of some humor in there as well, but a very serious subject because this gentleman did save my life, and I'm forever grateful for that first responder. So with that being said, everybody have a great day today. If you have not done it already, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Suffer the Tougher, and we are also on Facebook as well, so please like our page on Facebook, Suffer the Tougher as well. Have a good day. Bye.